All right, now something I'm really excited to talk about with you guys as well is because in our schedule video, we were talking about the Green Bay Packers, and I can't remember who it was, but you guys were saying that that line was going to move. It was going to go up. You guys talked about how they were a team on the rise. They were really going to shock people this season, and I think the odds makers are agreeing with you guys. It was by far the biggest movement on the lines we saw after the draft. They went up plus 1.5. Now they're sitting at 11 wins total, and the only team with them up at that number is the Seahawks. What do you guys think about this Packers team?
I don't think they did anything really crazy in the draft. So when I saw that, the first thing I went to look at was the other teams in the division. I don't think the other teams really did anything in the draft that warrants such a move. I just think it was probably a bad opener. I really do. I think that really explains that number there, because we all looked at it and we thought double-digit wins for the Packers is money in the bank. Now 11, you kind of have to think twice about it, right?
Yeah, I think that was a bad opener. I also kind of, a lot of people were kind of down on their or overlooking their draft. But look, most of their roster spots were set. You know what I mean? And what it appears that they did in the draft was try to shore up their special teams. We know that special teams in general is something that tends to get overlooked. It's probably the most overlooked facet of the game, at least when it comes to handicapping. And if a team like the Packers starts to have an elite special teams, then you're really going to see a team that starts to get multiple wins and covers even as a big favorite and stuff like that. So I don't think the draft was that bad. It'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. But if they turn their special teams unit into an elite unit, look out.
Yeah, their biggest, I think, issue this year will be just weathering, I think, the storm and just staying healthy. Because if all of that happens, this team's going to get a bye in the first round of the NFC playoffs. I mean, I just can't see. Even now, even though they're at 11 wins, you're right. You kind of stop and question of whether or not you want to take the over on that. I think you're probably looking at 11 wins as kind of a benchmark for them this year. So even though it's at plus 130, I think I agree with you. I don't know if I'd actually jump on that still. But I mean, looking at their schedule and like you said, Pete, their draft, they didn't go out and do anything flashy, but they didn't really go out and do anything bad either. It's kind of was like the story, I think, of this draft. We were expecting a lot of craziness overall, and it kind of turned out to be a little lackluster. But yeah, I mean, still, if you came to me right now and you said I'm really high on the Packers over 11, I don't know if I could talk you out of it. I just don't know if I would, be really behind you with it either. I think
that's 11 plus 130, so that's not 11 50%. That's 11 at 43%. So
Yeah, it's still a pretty good value. And if the value, if we go up to plus 135, plus 140, I think I'd be jumping back on the Packers bandwagon here. But then again, I mean, this could easily be a 12, 13-win football team too here, depending on what their division does and how well they play their division. So I think the Packers still have some upside there.